We want to thank you all for joining us for KPRC 2 News at 6. I'm Keith Garvin. Daniela is off this evening. KPRC 2 Investigates is uncovering questions about how HISD went about spending $2 million in taxpayer money. At the same time, the district was asking for your vote on a $4 billion bond package to fix aging infrastructure like this at Fleming Middle School in Houston's 5th Ward. Mario Diaz explains the budget item that led experts wanting to know a lot more about.
Do you feel that everything was done right with regards to the rollout of the $2 million initiative on the bond? The hiring of the campaign consultant, sir? One of the most powerful superintendents in America walking away from KPRC 2 Investigates in silence. It's a stark contrast to how much the district had to say of last November's $4 billion bond.
HISD serves the poorest of the poor children in Houston.
Ann Eagleton's children are products of the Houston Independent School District. We caught up with her during what she does on most days, examining how HISD is spending taxpayer dollars. And you do this again, why?
Just because it makes me mad knowing we're wasting money.
Eagleton and others, like former board member Sergio Lira, feel the district hasn't been forthcoming with details surrounding financials. Sergio, over 200 pages in this audit report. How much transparency did you see?
Well, very little, just a lot of numbers on the surface.
Some of those numbers are big, including $102 million for the implementation of the new education system in 45 additional schools, and $10 million for 5 modular buildings. And then there is this. Ask voters for a bond election in November 2024. Approximate cost, $2 million. That's a lot of money. The $4 billion bond primarily focused on security upgrades and HVAC improvements.
Our aging systems struggle to keep up with temperature highs and lows.
What about the reason for the $2 million expenditure ahead of the bond vote? The cost was related to putting the plan together and hiring a consulting group to support, according to the district.
That's the problem. It's that word support.
Former U.S. Attorney Ryan Patrick has questions over the approach. You've seen a lot of this stuff. Have you ever seen anything like this?
That word support, that's unique. But
that's a trouble word in this case.
To me, that's a trouble word in this case. That if they're trying to be very clever and they're trying to follow the law with that one exception, you'd want to be very careful and not say support.
Texas Election Code has a law on the books. Title 15, Section 255.003. Unlawful use of public funds for political advertising. An officer or employee of a political subdivision may not knowingly spend or authorize the spending of public funds for political advertising. The law does not apply if any advertising is factual and the communication does not advocate passage or defeat of the measure.
More than a third of HISD school buildings are 50 years old.
Which brings us to last October, early voting for HISD's bond proposal. The election is days away. HISD unveils multiple videos. The focus? The district is aging, struggling, and unsecure. However, at the end of both videos, the district takes the additional step of prominently stating "Renew HISD" on the screen. What does it come off to you?
Kind of sounds like advocating.
Remember Ann Eagleton? We showed this to her as well. So do you view this as HISD taking a position days before the vote?
Yes, I definitely thought they took a position even more than a couple days.
We tried to ask Mike Miles about it at a news conference last week. This after his office told us he was unavailable. We're hoping that you could just address the $2 million that was spent on the bond election for the hiring of consultants.
Thank you for that, but that's another time, another place. Right now, we're focused on NAEP today.
Well, we've asked for time.
And the achievement.
We've asked for time from your staff.
You'll get your time when the time is right.
So how was the $2 million spent? We searched HISD's vendors system and found nearly $1.4 million went to Outreach Strategists, a company based here in Houston. HISD records show they were involved with the marketing and public relations of the bond referendum. By the way, Keith, Outreach Strategists is a communications firm specializing in governmental relations, initiatives, and campaigns.
Mario, has the superintendent's office said they reached back out to you and told you you'll get your time that you asked for?
They did. A spokesman called me Friday morning asking for a list of questions that we wanted to ask Miles. As you know, it's standard practice for journalists to share topics they want to discuss, but not specific questions. They have not called me back as to when Mike Miles will sit down and talk with us, Keith.
Okay, more to come on this?
Stay tuned.
Okay, all right, stay tuned, we will. Mario, thank you.
Thank you.
And you can stay up to date with the work the KPRC2 Investigates team is doing in our community anytime at click2houston.com/investigates.